Hi guys, Kevin here. So this morning I'm going to cook a pot roast in my Instant Pot. I actually made another pot roast last night in the same pot and it didn't turn out so good, but I think the fault was entirely mine. So I'm going to give it another go and let me show you the roast after I put my glasses on. So what I have here is a USDA choice beef boneless chuck pot roast. And the weight is about 3.5 pounds. And it costs, how much did it cost? $15.45. So step one, I'm going to mix up my seasonings. And I'm going to put, about 2 tablespoons, maybe a tablespoon and a half of kosher salt in a bowl. Then I'm going to add exactly this much garlic powder and some grinds of black pepper. And I'm mixing up the seasonings first. I want more pepper in here. This way I don't have to handle the meat and then reach from the seasonings. I don't want to contaminate anything with bacteria or whatever from the meat. Then we're going to set that aside for a moment. Then we unwrap our beef. Boy, this is a big piece. Again, it's 3.5 pounds. I'm going to set this on a piece of parchment paper. And then what we do is take our seasoning and sprinkle it over the meat. And going to rub that in. And then flip the beef over. And repeat for the other side. And I may not use all of this salty seasoning. I don't want my beef to be too salty. Use a little more. And then, let me fix the camera so you can see the Instant Pot. We'll try to zoom in on this sucker. Yeah, I bought this Instant Pot about a year ago, and I used it to make rice, which was fine, but it didn't cook any faster than rice I would cook on the stovetop. I also used it to cook some frozen chicken thighs, which turned out great, and some hard-boiled eggs, which also turned out great because they peeled very easily. So now what we do is press the saute button on the Instant Pot, and this is going to heat up the liner. And then when it's hot enough, okay, it's signaling that it's on. When it gets hot, I am going to sear the beef. So I'll come back when we have some heat. Okay, I'm back already. While we're waiting for the pot to heat up, I'm going to remove some of the fat on this beef because I think there's too much fat. I like the marbling, but I don't want any excess fat on this thing. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with a very greasy gravy. Yes, I'm making gravy after the pot roast cooks. Okay, we're ready to sear our beef, so I'm pouring, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the pot. I hope you can see. Then I'm going to add this beef. And I'm going to brown it on all sides. It'll take about 5 minutes per side, so I'll come back. We are good to go. The reason that you brown the meat is so that it will caramelize and the caramelization is you're sort of burning the flesh of the meat, and it gives it a super rich flavor. And I've just transferred mine to a pie plate because I want to degrease, or rather deglaze, the pan. So I'm going to add, about a 1/4 cup or so of beef stock. And then what we do is scrape the bottom of the pan while the stock boils. And we're scraping up all the little stuck-on bits because they are loaded with flavor. And deglazing also cleans the bottom of the pan. You'll have less cleanup to do later on. And by the way, there's very little cleanup involved with an Instant Pot. Now, we can put the meat, we can return the meat to the Instant Pot. Again, it's really heavy. It's one of the heaviest pieces of meat I've ever had to deal with. And then I'm going to add about a cup or so of stock. I want it to come halfway up the side of the beef. I'm also going to add some Worcestershire sauce. Sprinkle some on top. And I'm also going to add some dried thyme leaves. About a 1/2 teaspoon. And because I have it and because I like it, I'm going to add some prepared mustard. Not mustard, but horseradish. And that's about 1/3 cup, and I'm going to put it right on top. And then we want to pressure cook the meat. So let me fix the camera so you can see the buttons I'm pushing. So first, turn the machine off. You hit the cancel button, and then put the lid on and lock it into position. And let's see if I can have trouble with this. Yep. Oh, I have it facing the wrong way because I have it facing the camera instead of me. So that little bell sound you heard was indicating that the lid is on and locked. So now we press meat, stew, and then we press pressure. And we want high pressure. And this is 3.5 pounds. And as a rule of thumb, you want to cook the beef 20 minutes per pound. So I'm going to do 17 minutes. Or an hour, I guess an hour and 10 minutes that would be. Okay, and do we have high pressure? Pressure level. As I said, I'm new to the Instant Pot. No, I want high. So let's see, pressure level. High pressure. There we go. I'll come back later, and then we're going to add some vegetables and make a gravy. Of course, I left out one important detail. You want to make sure that the steam valve is in the off position. And on this model, it means you turn it to the right. And when the Instant Pot reaches pressure, this little red button will come up. Okay, the little button has popped up. And that means the countdown is about to begin. Alrighty, the time is up. And earlier I alluded to the pot roast I made last night that I said was, well, it was awful. It was tough, it was dry, it was basically inedible. And I know why. It's because I was hungry. So as soon as the time was up, I switched this little valve over here to quick steam release. And when the steam came out, all the moisture came out of the pot and out of the beef. And that's why the beef was so dry. 24 hours later, I am older and wiser. So I'm going to let the steam release itself naturally for at least 10 minutes. So I'll come back. Oh, meanwhile, I've chopped up 5 carrots, and I'm going to cut up a couple of potatoes and 1 onion. I've cut it in half, but I'm going to cut it into quarters. I'll be back. It's been 15 minutes, so now I am going to release the pressure until this little knob goes down. So the Instant Pot is going to have a hissy fit. Cover your ears. Actually, that's not so loud. And the knob has just come down, so now I can take the lid off. We are good and hot here. And the Instant Pot has this, I'm not sure if you can see this, but you can set the lid over on the side like this. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little notch over on the side, which is very convenient. And now let me grab a fresh tongs and, ooh, oh wow. Oh, it's super tender. I'm going to, it might be too tender. I'm going to have to use some ingenuity here to remove the meat. It is falling apart. Wow. It is gorgeous. Are you even in view? No, I'll show you. I'll move the camera down in a moment so you can see. Wow. Oh, I cannot wait to taste this. And I can smell that beautiful horseradish. Just look at this meat. It is super tender. It takes nothing to cut it. And going to keep this warm under a tent of aluminum foil. And then we can add the vegetables. And for this, we want to first cancel. Better move back to the machine. We have to cancel the pressure cooking, and then we go back to the saute feature. No, we don't. We go back to pressure cook. Only I'm not ready to pressure cook yet. Where's my knife? And I'm going to just cut the potatoes into big chunks. Cut them in half and then into quarters. I did not peel the potatoes because these are Yukon Gold and the skins looked really nice. So all I did was wash them. Anyway, in go the carrots. In go the potatoes. In go the onions. I'm going to pressure cook the vegetables for just 6 minutes. Okay, vegetables are done. And here's an instance where you can use the quick release because vegetables are not going to dry out. Well, I think 6 minutes was too long for the vegetables. Probably 4 minutes would have been enough. Anyway, I'm using a spider strainer to remove the veggies and arrange them on the platter. Yeah, my potatoes are kind of falling apart. It's amazing when you pressure cook, things soften up very, very quickly. And this is looking really good. Next up is the gravy. And this is going to be super easy to make. Although I should probably mention, well, first let me put the tent on the platter just to keep everything warm. I wanted to mention that if you think you don't have enough liquid in the Instant Pot, you can always add more. And for pot roast, my advice is to add dry red wine, such as a Cabernet Sauvignon. But I think I have enough liquid in here. So what we do is press the saute button, and that's going to bring the liquid back to a boil. And it will come to a boil very quickly. So I'll come back and show you how I'm going to thicken the gravy. Well, it hasn't even been a minute, and already my liquid has come to a boil. So now I'm adding about 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch that I mix with just enough water to make a smooth slurry. And in it goes. And then we stir briefly just until the sauce thickens and really turns into a gravy, which it is doing already. And here's the gravy. And here's our dinner. And doesn't this look terrific? I'm going to have one little bite of the meat because I'm not ready to plate this up just yet. Fabulous. And it will be even better if I pour my gravy over the works. So you might wonder if the Instant Pot is worth buying. And I would say yes. It's very fast and you don't lose any flavor. And again, you can have really tender meat. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any tips for cooking pot roast in an Instant Pot, by all means, post a comment below. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.